Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Imagine this. What if the marketplace doesn't reward your needs, your wants, or even your desires? What if success isn't about shortcuts, but about who you become in the process? And what if the real question isn't how much you want success, but how much value you actually bring? Here's the truth you must understand. The marketplace pays for value, nothing else. It doesn't pay for needs, wants, or desires. It pays for value. This is one of the fundamental laws of our economic lives. Yet most people spend their time wishing for change, instead of becoming the kind of person who creates it. We live in a world where everyone searches for a quick fix, a magic answer, a shortcut. But let me be honest with you, there are no shortcuts. Success is not an event, it's a process. It's the progressive realization of worthy goals. And to reach those goals, you must first become a person of value. Now let me ask, if I followed you for a week, would I be inspired? Would I be impressed by your discipline, focus, and dedication? Or would I see the same old habits producing the same old results? To become too valuable to be ignored, you must first take an honest look at where you are right now. That's often the hardest part, because most people don't like what they see. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay the same. You can grow, develop, and transform. My mentor once told me, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom." That philosophy changed my life, and it can change yours too. So let's talk about personal value in the marketplace. What skills do you bring? What knowledge do you possess? What problems can you solve? What value can you add? These are the questions that determine your worth. And the best part? You can increase your value every single day through personal development. When I was a young man, I met my mentor, Mr. Schoaf. He asked me, "Jim, how much money have you got saved?" I answered, "None." He looked at me and said, "Who sold you on that plan?" That one question shook me, and it was the wake-up call I needed. At that point, I hadn't realized I was even on a plan. I was simply doing what everyone else was doing, living paycheck to paycheck, hoping things would eventually get better. Then Mr. Schoaf told me something I never forgot. "Jim, if you want to be valuable, you must have value to offer. If you want things to change, you must change. If you want things to improve, you must improve. If you want to have more, you must become more." So, what does it mean to become valuable? First, it starts with developing your mind. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger with use. Read books, attend seminars, listen to audio programs, surround yourself with successful people, and commit to becoming a lifelong student. I've often said, formal education can make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. Think about this. The average American reads fewer than 2 books a year. Is it any wonder so many people feel stuck financially or trapped in their careers? They're not feeding their minds with fresh ideas, strategies, or perspectives. Years ago, I made a simple commitment to read at least 30 minutes a day. That doesn't sound like much, but it adds up. 30 minutes daily is 3.5 hours a week, or 182 hours a year. Do you know how many books you can finish in that time? Enough to change the course of your life. Each book holds ideas that can make you more valuable in the marketplace. But reading alone isn't enough. Knowledge isn't power until it's applied. As you read, always ask yourself, how can I use this? How can I implement this? How can this make me more valuable? Next, you must develop your skills. What comes naturally to you? What do people compliment you on? These are clues to your talents. The key is to develop them to an exceptional level. Being average doesn't make you valuable. Excellence does. The marketplace rewards greatness, not mediocrity. Top performers in any field earn nearly 80% of the rewards. That's just how the marketplace works. So, if you want to be rewarded, you must rise to be among the best at what you do. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you have to be the best in the entire world. That's not realistic for most people. What I am saying is that you need to be exceptional within your own sphere of influence, standing out from those around you. And here's the encouraging part. Becoming exceptional doesn't always require extraordinary talent. It requires extraordinary effort, discipline, and consistency. It's what I call the slight edge, doing just a little more, a little better, and a little longer than everyone else. Take sales, for example. The average salesperson makes 10 calls a day. But what if you made 15? Just 5 more calls is a 50% increase in activity. Over a year, that adds up to thousands of extra contacts, potentially hundreds of additional sales, and tens of thousands more dollars in your pocket, all from a simple slight edge in daily effort. The third step in becoming valuable is developing your character, integrity, honesty, work ethic, and reliability. These qualities may seem old-fashioned in today's fast-paced, shortcut-driven world, but they are timeless. They never go out of style because they form the foundation of trust. And in business, in relationships, in life, trust is everything. I've met many talented people who never reached their potential because they couldn't be trusted. They showed up late, broke promises, or cut corners when no one was watching. And eventually, the marketplace caught on. Opportunities stopped coming their way. Talent without character is like a sports car without brakes. It looks impressive at first, but sooner or later, it's heading for a crash. On the other hand, I've also seen people with average talent achieve extraordinary success simply because of their character. They were honest to a fault, reliable as the sunrise, and diligent in everything they did. Over time, the marketplace rewarded them because character builds trust, and trust always creates opportunity. The fourth step in becoming valuable is developing your attitude, your outlook, your perspective, your approach to life's challenges. Attitude isn't everything, but it is the starting point. It sets the tone for everything else. A positive, solution-oriented attitude makes you the kind of person people want to work with, support, and see succeed. I learned this lesson early in my career while working at a department store. I wasn't making much money and often complained about my circumstances. One day, a wise colleague said, "Jim, if you want to make more money, become more valuable." And the first step is to have a better attitude. At first, I was offended. I thought my attitude was fine. But after reflecting, I realized he was right. I had been doing the bare minimum, focusing on what was wrong instead of what I could improve. So I made a decision. I would become the most positive, helpful, and enthusiastic person in that store. And everything changed. Customers began asking for me by name, my sales increased, management took notice, and within 6 months I was promoted, all because I changed my attitude. Opportunities began to open for me, and that's when I realized a key principle. Your income can only grow to the extent that you do. The fifth aspect of becoming valuable is developing your network, the relationships you build, the connections you make, and the people who know you. In today's interconnected world, your network is one of your greatest assets. It's not just about who you know, but who knows you and what they know about you. I've often said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So ask yourself, are these people pushing you to grow, to improve, to become more valuable? Or are they keeping you comfortable, encouraging mediocrity? If you want to become too valuable to be ignored, you must surround yourself with people who already live at a higher standard. Mentors, achievers, those building the kind of success you desire. Attend conferences, join masterminds. Place yourself in environments where excellence is the expectation, not the exception. And never forget, networking isn't about what others can do for you. It's about what you can do for them. The most valuable people in any network are those who give first, sharing insights, making introductions, offering help, knowing that giving is always the first step to receiving. The sixth aspect of becoming valuable is developing your brand. In today's digital age, everyone has a personal brand, whether they realize it or not. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's your reputation, your perceived value, your position in the marketplace. So what do people say about you? Are you known for excellence, integrity, and value? Or for mediocrity, corner cutting, and just getting by? A brand isn't built overnight. It's built day by day, decision by decision, action by action. It's built by keeping promises, exceeding expectations, and proving you're someone others can rely on. At one of my seminars years ago, a woman working as an administrative assistant attended with big dreams. Afterward, she made a decision to rebrand herself, not as just an assistant, but as an indispensable business partner. She began arriving early to prepare for meetings, taking notes on everyone's priorities, anticipating needs before they were spoken. Within a year, she was promoted to executive assistant. Within 2 years, operations manager. Within 5 years, she was chief of staff earning 6 figures. All because she transformed her image from ordinary to extraordinary, from replaceable to indispensable, from ignorable to too valuable to be ignored. The seventh aspect of becoming valuable is developing your expertise, becoming a recognized authority in your field, the person people turn to for answers, guidance, and solutions. In today's information age, expertise is currency. The more you know, the more valuable you become. Building expertise takes time, effort, and deliberate practice. It means studying, experimenting, failing, learning, and growing. Malcolm Gladwell popularized the 10,000-hour rule, suggesting mastery comes after years of focused practice. But once you gain that expertise, no one can take it from you. It becomes a permanent asset for life. I once knew a man who spent 5 years mastering a highly specialized area of tax law. It wasn't glamorous, thousands of pages of tax code, countless cases, endless training. But when he emerged as one of only a few experts nationwide, companies gladly paid him $500 an hour. Why? Because he invested in rare, valuable expertise. The eighth aspect of becoming valuable is developing your productivity, your ability to consistently get things done. To become truly valuable, you must produce results that others find meaningful. The marketplace doesn't reward activity, it rewards outcomes. Those who create the most valuable results in the least amount of time become too valuable to be ignored. So how can you boost your productivity? First, eliminate distractions. Studies show the average person is interrupted every 8 minutes, and it takes nearly 23 minutes to regain full focus. That constant disruption is a recipe for mediocrity. If you want to rise above, you need long stretches of deep, focused work. Second, prioritize ruthlessly. Not all tasks carry the same weight. Some move you closer to your goals, while others just keep you busy. Focus on the first group and delegate or eliminate the rest. As Peter Drucker once said, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently what should not be done at all. Finally, leverage systems and technology. Automate repetitive tasks, streamline workflows, and multiply your output without multiplying your effort. The most productive people aren't necessarily working harder, they're working smarter. I know a writer who once struggled to finish a single book in 2 years. Then he built a system, dictating drafts, hiring an editor, and using templates for marketing. The result? He now publishes 3 books a year, and his income has soared, all because he learned to produce more value in less time. The ninth aspect of becoming valuable is developing your creativity, the ability to generate fresh ideas, solve problems in innovative ways, and see opportunities where others see obstacles. In a world where routine work is increasingly automated, creativity is more valuable than ever. Using creativity to increase your value is a game changer. But how do you develop it? Start by exposing yourself to diverse ideas and perspectives. Read books outside your field, talk to people from different backgrounds, and travel to new places. Often, the most powerful insights come from connecting dots between seemingly unrelated concepts. Next, give yourself space to think. Creativity requires breathing room. It can't be forced. Some of the best ideas arrive in quiet moments, like during a walk, in meditation, or even in the shower. Build these pauses into your routine and let your mind wander. Finally, practice generating ideas without judgment. Set a goal to come up with 10 ideas each day related to your work or personal growth. Most won't be practical, and that's okay. The point is to train your brain to think creatively. I once knew a business owner struggling to stand out in a crowded market. He committed to this daily creativity practice, and while most ideas went nowhere, one concept transformed his company. Within a year, his business doubled, all because he developed his creative muscle. The 10th aspect of becoming valuable is resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, persist through obstacles, and keep moving when others quit. The road to success is never smooth. It's filled with highs and lows, breakthroughs and breakdowns. What separates the truly valuable from the merely talented is their response to adversity. They don't let failure define them. They let it refine them. They don't see setbacks as stop signs, but as detours guiding them toward greater growth. So how do you build resilience? Start by reframing how you see challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? How can it make me stronger, wiser, and more valuable?" Next, develop supportive habits and relationships. Resilience isn't just mental. It's also physical and emotional. Take care of your health, surround yourself with positive influences, and build a network of people who believe in you even when you doubt yourself. Finally, keep your long-term vision and focus. Resilience comes easier when you're connected to a purpose larger than your immediate struggles. When you know where you're going, setbacks feel more like detours than dead ends. I once knew a woman who lost her job during a downturn. Instead of seeing it as a disaster, she treated it as a chance to reinvent herself. She used her severance to take courses, leaned on her network, and launched a small consulting practice to gain experience. Within 6 months, she had 3 job offers, all paying more than her previous position. Not because of luck, but because she was resilient. She turned a setback into a setup for something greater. The 11th aspect of becoming valuable is communication skills. Your ability to express ideas clearly, persuade effectively, and connect authentically. In almost every field, strong communication multiplies your value many times over. How many brilliant ideas have died because they weren't communicated well? How many talented people were overlooked because they couldn't articulate their worth? Communication is more than words. It's listening, understanding, and empathizing. It's tailoring your message to your audience, being clear, concise, and compelling. And in today's digital age, it's also about mastering multiple platforms, whether in person, in writing, on video, or through social media. I've seen countless people who weren't the most experienced rise above others simply because they knew how to communicate with impact. They rose to the top because they communicated exceptionally well. They could take complex ideas and make them simple, inspire action with their words, and quickly build rapport. These skills made them too valuable to be ignored. The 12th aspect of becoming valuable is leadership. It's your ability to influence others, set a vision, and achieve results through collective effort. Leadership isn't about a title, it's about influence. It's about inspiring people to perform at their best and creating an environment where innovation, collaboration, and excellence thrive. In today's team-driven world, this ability is more crucial than ever. I recall a young man in a large corporation. He wasn't a manager, yet he acted like one. He took initiative on projects, helped colleagues in need, and brought energy to every meeting. Instead of just pointing out problems, he proposed solutions. Within a year, he was promoted to team lead. Within 2, he was managing a department, not because he had the most technical knowledge, but because his leadership made him invaluable. The 13th aspect of becoming valuable is adaptability, the willingness to learn new skills, embrace new technology, and thrive in constant change. In today's fast-moving world, adaptability isn't optional, it's survival. Industries are disrupted, jobs are redefined, and what's valuable today may vanish tomorrow. The people who stand out are those who adapt quickly, learn continuously, and reinvent themselves when needed. I once knew a man who worked in print advertising for 2 decades. When digital marketing began reshaping the industry, many of his peers resisted. They clung to old methods even as opportunities disappeared. But he chose a different path. Instead of resisting, he embraced change. He took online courses in digital marketing, volunteered for digital projects, and sought mentors already thriving in the new landscape. Because of his adaptability, his career flourished while others fell behind. He became too valuable to be ignored because he refused to become obsolete. The 14th aspect of becoming valuable is discipline, the ability to do what must be done, when it must be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, between mediocrity and excellence, between being overlooked and becoming indispensable. Most people act only when they feel motivated. If the feeling isn't there, neither is the effort. That's why their results are inconsistent. But the most valuable people show up every day. They deliver with excellence, no matter how they feel. They've trained themselves to push through resistance, overcome procrastination, and tackle the hard tasks others avoid. I often say discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. Small habits, reading daily, exercising regularly, practicing your craft, may seem minor in the moment, but over time they compound into extraordinary value. And neglecting them compounds too, leading to missed opportunities, wasted potential, and a life filled with what-ifs. The 15th aspect of becoming valuable is decision-making. It's your ability to gather information, weigh options, and choose wisely, even under pressure. In a world overflowing with choices and complex challenges, strong decision-making has become a rare and powerful skill. Just think about it. Your life right now is the sum of the decisions you've made so far. Where you live, the work you do, the relationships you've chosen, even your financial standing. Your health, your wealth, your relationships. All of these are shaped by thousands of big and small decisions. And your future will be determined by the choices you make from this moment on. So how do you improve your decision-making? First, become aware of how you decide. Most people act unconsciously, guided by habits, emotions, or outside pressure. But valuable people make conscious choices rooted in their values, goals, and careful thought about possible outcomes. Second, gather better information. Your decisions are only as strong as the quality of the information behind them. Seek diverse perspectives, challenge your own assumptions, and be willing to adjust when new evidence appears. The best decision-makers aren't the most stubborn, they're the most adaptable. Finally, practice decisiveness. Overthinking often costs more than making a less-than-perfect choice. As General George Patton said, "A good plan executed now is better than a perfect plan next week." I knew a business owner who once agonized over every decision, big or small, until he created a simple rule: 60 seconds for minor decisions, 60 minutes for moderate ones, 60 hours for major choices. That system forced him to act faster, seize opportunities, and outpace his competitors. He became more valuable because he could adapt quickly and move with confidence. The 16th aspect of becoming valuable is focus, the ability to concentrate fully on what truly matters. Eliminating distractions and channeling your energy toward your highest priorities is crucial. In today's world of constant interruptions, emails, texts, social media alerts, breaking news, focus has become one of the rarest and most valuable skills. Every distraction not only consumes time but fractures attention, making deep work nearly impossible. The most valuable people protect their focus. They build environments and routines that support concentration. They say no to many good things so they can say yes to the few great things. The most successful individuals aren't always the most talented or intelligent. They're the ones who can concentrate the longest on a single problem or opportunity. They know that distraction is the enemy of value creation. So, how do you strengthen focus? Start by identifying the tasks that matter most. The ones that create the highest value and move you closer to your goals. Guard time for these activities. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs. Even place your phone in another room. Create an environment for deep work, not shallow busyness. Then, practice focus like a muscle. Begin with short sessions, such as 25 minutes using the Pomodoro technique, and gradually extend them as your ability strengthens. Finally, manage your energy as well as your time. Schedule your most important work during your natural peak hours, and leave routine tasks for when your energy dips. I know a writer who once struggled with productivity until he created a focus routine. Every morning, he woke up at 5 a.m. He would wake up, make a cup of coffee, and write for 2 hours before touching any device. No email, no news, no social media. Just focus creation. That simple habit tripled his output and elevated the quality of his work. And the marketplace noticed, rewarding him with higher paying opportunities and greater recognition. He became too valuable to be ignored because he learned to ignore the unimportant. The 17th aspect of becoming valuable is problem solving. The ability to identify challenges, analyze root causes, generate solutions, and implement them effectively. In every industry, those who solve problems consistently and creatively become indispensable. Most people avoid problems. They complain, resist, or see them as obstacles. But highly valuable people seek them out. They treat problems as opportunities to prove their worth, as puzzles waiting to be solved. They understand that income, advancement, and reputation are directly tied to the size and complexity of the problems they can handle. I once asked a CEO why he paid one of his top executives such an extraordinary salary. His response was simple: "This person solves $10 million problems for me. Why wouldn't I pay him $1 million a year?" That's how the marketplace works. It pays in proportion to the problems you solve. So, how do you sharpen your problem-solving ability? Begin with a systematic approach. Don't rush to quick fixes. First, define the problem clearly, understand its scope, and pinpoint its causes. Often, a well-defined problem is already half solved. Then, expand your toolkit. Study how others solved similar challenges, explore methods like design thinking or Six Sigma, and learn to see problems from different angles. The more tools you have, the better your chances of finding the right solution. And finally, focus on implementation. Even the best idea means nothing if it isn't executed well. Develop project management, change management, and influence skills to ensure your solutions deliver real results, not just theories. I know an engineer who became indispensable to his company, not because he was the most technically skilled. He wasn't the most brilliant or technically gifted engineer, but he became indispensable because he could solve problems that crossed departmental boundaries. He understood enough about engineering, finance, marketing, and operations to see how everything connected, and he created solutions that served the entire system, not just one piece. That ability made him too valuable to be ignored, and he quickly rose into leadership. The 18th aspect of becoming valuable is emotional intelligence, your capacity to recognize and manage your own emotions, while also understanding and influencing the emotions of others. In a world where routine cognitive tasks can be automated, emotional intelligence is something no machine can truly replicate, which makes it increasingly valuable. Emotional intelligence has several key components: self-awareness, knowing what you feel and why; self-regulation, managing your reactions; motivation, channeling emotions toward goals; empathy, understanding others' feelings; and social skills, building strong, effective relationships. People with high emotional intelligence become better leaders, teammates, salespeople, negotiators, and customer service professionals, essentially better at any role that depends on human interaction. So, how do you develop it? Begin with self-awareness. Notice your emotional triggers throughout the day and how they shape your actions. Reflect on how your behavior impacts others. Journaling can help uncover these patterns. Next, practice empathy. Make a genuine effort to see situations from another person's perspective. Ask thoughtful questions, listen closely, and pay attention not only to words but also to the emotions behind them. Finally, strengthen your social skills. Learn to communicate clearly and respectfully, even in tough conversations. Practice giving constructive feedback and develop the ability to resolve conflicts effectively. These abilities make you the kind of person others want to work with, someone they trust, and someone they value. I once knew a consultant who built an entire career not just on expertise, but on. He built a 7-figure business largely on the strength of his emotional intelligence. He wasn't the most technically skilled consultant in his field, but he excelled at building rapport with clients, understanding unspoken needs, navigating organizational politics, and delivering feedback in a way people could accept and act on. Those skills made him too valuable to be ignored in a marketplace crowded with technically competent but emotionally tone-deaf competitors. The 19th aspect of becoming valuable is initiative, your willingness to act without being told, to see what needs doing and do it, to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. In a world where most people react, those who are proactive stand out and become indispensable. Initiative is about ownership. It's treating your job, your business, your projects, even your relationships, as if their success or failure rests on you. It's thinking like an owner, even if you're an employee, like a leader, even if you're a follower. The most valuable people in any organization consistently show initiative. They don't wait for permission to make improvements. They don't need step-by-step instructions. They see problems and solve them, spot opportunities and seize them, and operate beyond expectations rather than simply meeting them. So how do you build greater initiative? Start by widening your perspective. Most people only focus on their assigned tasks. But those with initiative look at the bigger picture. They understand how their work connects to the larger mission and act accordingly. They see how their work fits into the larger goals of the team, the department, and the organization. This broader perspective allows them to spot opportunities for improvement that others overlook. Next, they develop a solution-oriented mindset. When faced with a problem, they don't just report it. They bring at least one potential solution. This not only shows initiative, but makes them far more valuable to any team or organization. Finally, they embrace calculated risks. Initiative often means stepping outside your comfort zone, trying new approaches, or suggesting ideas that may not always succeed. The most valuable people aren't reckless. but they're willing to risk failure in pursuit of growth and innovation. I once knew a customer service representative who started in an entry-level role, but soon became one of the most valuable members of her company, all because of her initiative. She didn't just resolve complaints. She recognized patterns and proposed product improvements. She didn't just follow the script. She wrote better ones and shared them with her team. She didn't just meet her targets. She consistently found ways to exceed them. Within 2 years, she was managing the entire department, not because she had the most experience or credentials, but because her initiative made her too valuable to be ignored. The 20th aspect of becoming valuable is integrity, your commitment to doing what's right, keeping your word, and maintaining high ethical standards, even when it's difficult or costly. In a world where trust is scarce, integrity has become one of the most valuable assets you can possess. Integrity isn't just about honesty, though that's essential. It's about being whole, being consistent, and being the same person in all situations. It's aligning your actions with your values, your words with your deeds, and your private life with your public image. The marketplace rewards integrity because integrity builds trust, and trust creates opportunity. People want to work with, buy from, and invest in those they can trust. And in today's transparent, connected world, a lack of integrity is harder than ever to hide. So how do you build it? Start by clarifying your values. What principles are non-negotiable for you? What lines will you never cross, no matter the profit or advancement? Then, practice integrity in the small things. Keep promises even when inconvenient. Meet deadlines even when it requires extra effort. And tell the truth even when a lie would be easier. Finally, surround yourself with people of integrity. We rise or fall to the level of those we spend time with, and their example will shape yours. So remember, integrity doesn't just define your reputation, it defines your future. Wishing you health, happiness, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.